Here we go. Let's get this party started. All right. Tonight we are on the virtual Roman cycling holiday. So, this is actually a cycling adventure, which is going to happen this summer, July the 7th through the 15th. And it's brought to you by Pendenze Pericolose World, which is a bike touring company in Italy. The original owners of Pendenze Pericolose, not with the world aspect, are husband and wife team, Emiliano Cantagallo and his lovely and wonderful wife, Esmeralda. The two of them have now collaborated with Susanna Panzini, who lived here in the United States. And while we're getting warmed up, I want you guys to just be in your easiest gear, small ring, easiest gear you have in the back. Susanna lived in the United States for a decade or so. And after COVID, or during COVID, she moved back to her homeland of Italy. And she has now collaborated with Emiliano and Esmeralda to create Pendenze Pericolose World in an effort to bring Americans to Italy to see how wonderful it is there to ride your bike. And we were fortunate enough to go there last year. Earl and Lillian were with us, and a number of other people that you know. And we had an amazing time. So it is a great place to ride. This year's trip, as noticed in the title, is going to be in and around Rome. The other aspect is that a Formula One driver, Giancarlo Fisicelli, is also going to be part of the trip. And those participating in the trip will have an opportunity to ride with him. And as I go through the agenda of the week, you will see why he's involved in this particular event. So as we get warmed up normally, let's have our full water bottle, a fan, your towel, everything ready. So tonight's going to be a lot about visualization. So I'm going to kind of set the scene as to how the days are going to go in this tour, where you will be and how the terrain will change. And I'm going to try to make the workout kind of match those days in some respects. And I want you to keep in mind that you need to leave a little bit in the tank for the last 12 minutes, because that's going to be the pinnacle of this journey, as it was for us last year when we went to Italy and we climbed the mighty Zoncolan. So for this trip, you're going to arrive on a Sunday into Rome, and from there you're going to travel to just north of Rome, and you're going to stay at a hotel called Trignano Romano. That is around and close to Lake Bracciano. And that's what's going to happen on the first day. We're going to get there, and we're going to do just a little ride around the lake to see what there is to see. So that's how we're going to start. A little different of a start. The lake's pretty flat. The lake is huge. And the way it's going to go is we're going to do 15 seconds hard, 15 seconds standing, and then we're going to do 30 seconds of a really high spin. So I want you to start off with getting your small ring and your 15. We've been there before. You should see about 3 gears underneath your chain. You're going to give me 15 seconds of a hard effort, and then I'll walk you through the next phase. 3, 2, 1. 15 seconds. Let's get the legs going. Want to feel that burn? You're going to shift down one harder gear. Standing up. You just got off the plane. You need to literally get your legs moving a bit. Sitting back down. Give me 3 or 4 shifts easier. Increase that cadence to about 100. Holding it there. As you ride around the lake, you're going to notice these amazing stone structures. Back down to your 15, pushing it hard. We might have to climb up a little to get to those stone structures. 1 gear harder. Standing up. Sitting back down. 3 or 4 gears easier. Hitting that 100 cadence. So when you've been sitting in a plane for hours, it's good to kind of push the legs a little, wake them up as you ride around the lake, get to know the area. Back down to that 15. Lots of shifting for this warm up. One gear harder. Standing up. Sitting back down. A few easier gears. Get to that 100 cadence. Can you smell the sea? If you look in the distance, you'll see some rolling hills. The scenery is amazing. These little villages. Back down to the 15. Hitting it hard. It's almost as if around the lake, the land has come out. 1 gear harder. Standing up. And you'll see these pieces of land jetting into the lake with an entire village. Sitting back down, finding that easy gear, hitting 100. 1 more minute to go. Almost around the backside of the lake. The distance for today, a mere 20 miles. or who can do the conversion, 33 kilometers, down to that 15, nice and hard. One gear harder, standing up. Last minute. Easy gear, sitting down. Spin out the last 30 seconds. Let's go. We're coming back close to the hotel. You're riding and testing out a rental bike if you choose to take one. 3, 2, 1. Nice easy gear. Take a drink. So those of you that know Cipollini Bikes, that is who the bike sponsor is, and you have an opportunity to rent one of those, or of course, you can bring your own bike. It's always fun to ride a bike. These are very high-end bikes, carbon everything, electronic shifting, and obviously nice wheels, and they really are a wonderful machine. So day 2 takes us into a number of different places. Civignano, Monterossi, Neppi. We're going to be doing 40 miles, about 64 kilometers, 2,500 feet of climbing this day. So what we're going to do next is simulate that. We're just going to start where we are right now, and every minute we are going to shift to a harder gear. 8 minutes of this. So it's going to feel like we're just gradually getting a little harder as we go. 3, 2, 1. You're going to stay where you are. Hopefully you're in your small ring, the easiest gear that you have. Get that cadence as high as you can possibly hold it. I want you to be, if you can get there at least 100, you might notice the gear might be too easy, and you have to regulate how quickly you're moving your legs. If you're spinning too fast and you're bouncing, just pull back your cadence a bit, but keep the legs moving. So your goal for this 8 minutes worth is to try and hold the highest cadence possible in each gear. So what you might want to try to do is whatever you see on that screen right now, hold that for as long as you possibly can. Shift down to one harder gear. Keep that cadence high. So this particular day, it's kind of cool because in Neppi, they have mineral springs. And those springs are what supply a lot of water, bottled water, in that region of Italy. This day, you're also going to see a lot of old medieval type buildings, Roman ruins, and villages everywhere. The cool part about each of these days is stopping at some kind of cafe or place that needs to be watched or looked at, one gear harder. And of course, photo opportunities are everywhere. So it won't be just hardcore, put your nose to the grindstone and ride hard every day. It's also about enjoying the scenery that you're seeing around you. Now keep in mind, this place around Lake Bracciano and where we'll be riding for the first couple of days is just north of Rome. So you will see some influences in those cities, towns, villages, and in the region itself. Another shift to a harder gear. Try keeping that cadence high. As we move through this day, like I said, it's 40 miles, about 2,500 feet of climbing, which may seem like a lot, but when you start riding there and riding this kind of elevation gain on a daily basis, it's surprising. Your body actually starts to change, starts to enjoy every single pedal stroke. During this effort, if you need a drink, make sure you're taking it. If you turn on your fan, keep yourself cool. Another shift. Halfway there. Keep the legs moving. So the part about keeping cool is, on the trip, you will get 2 full kits. One, which is part of the Pendenze Pericolose their own kit. And then you'll receive a Roma kit, which I'll explain a little later. But it will be special to Team USA. One more shift. 5 minutes in. And I have to admit, Ali is the Italian company making these kits, and they are really high quality. Very thin fabric. They fit to the glove. And they're actually really good with design changes that are current to cycling gear. We're almost to the 6 minute. I'm sure your cadence is coming down. One more shift. Just 2 more minutes to go. So you might be getting a little tired on the ride today. And you might be also hitting a little bit of jet lag, getting used to the new time frame. But the fact that we're keeping you busy helps you to kind of get through that stage. I can remember on our last trip, we were all sitting around a dinner, and one of the women that was only coming for part of the week had just arrived. One more shift. She was sitting next to me at dinner, and she was like looking at me, but I knew she wasn't seeing me. And I said, "You're really struggling, aren't you?" She said, "Yeah." I have no idea where I am. I have no idea what time it is. It was all a total blank to her. I'm sure she slept well that night. Almost there. Almost to the end. A nice distance for the second day. Not a lot of climbing. Kept it all in perspective. 3, 2, 1. Easy gear. Take a drink. As always, make sure you're consuming that full bottle. So the next day, we're going to discover Tusha. This is a longer day with some significant climbing, 4,200 feet, which for our trip last year was about average on our days. So we're going to do an 8-minute effort where we're going to feel ourselves in a nice cadence, and then we're going to find a climb. So we're going to kind of be up and down as we go through this 8 minutes. So I want you to start in your small ring, 17. So remember, if you're 25 at the top, 23, 21, 19, 17. We're going to have 1 minute here. 3, 2, 1. No rest for the weary. Hold whatever cadence you can in this gear. I'd like for you to be around 90, at least at 90. I think you can manage that gear at that cadence. So when we start out, we're going to be riding this day to Lago di Vico, or Lake Vico. This is a smaller lake, probably a quarter of the size of Lake Bracciano. But it again, when you ride around these lake towns, you can see across the lake to the most amazing scenery you've ever seen. I'm going to have you go to your big ring and up to your 23. So that would be shifting a couple of gears up and to your big ring. 1 minute here. This is just to get you started on that first gradual climb. No need to fear. Everybody can climb at their own pace. That's the beauty of being able to get to the top when you get there. And normally at the top of some of the bigger climbs, there may be a coffee shop or some kind of view. So you don't need to worry that you can't make it at the pace you want to. You're going to go back down to your small ring and go 1 gear harder to your 16. So if you know where your 15 is, that's where you have 3 gears underneath your chain. You should be 1 gear above that. So the climbing hasn't gotten extreme yet, but we're feeling it a bit. Legs are moving. You might be around 80 cadence. That's okay. You're going to notice we're just moving back and forth from big ring to small ring, simulating those rolling hills that are going to happen on this day. Big ring, up to your 19. So about 2 or 3 gears easier. Cadence will come down, settle in for this 1-minute climb. The beauty about climbing there is you can kind of get in to your own groove, what works for you. And you guys know all the body positions. Hands are up on the deck. Torso is nice and tall. Feet staying flat. Using your quads and your glutes. Down to your small ring. Back down to the small ring and in your 15. So you know where the 15 is. We've been there a number of times today. Cadence will come down. Just a little slower cadence to again keep you in that rolling terrain. It's cool in Italy. You may come to a village. In the middle of most villages, there's like the town square. And there are fountains in those squares. And that's a water source. Your big ring, staying in the gear that you're in. So we're starting our climb. Lago di Vica is known to be one of the highest points, or the highest lake in that region. So we're going to have to climb now. We've got 2 minutes here. A little longer. Really keep yourselves relaxed. That's the key to climbing. When you stomp on the pedals, you're actually wasting a lot of energy. So find the lightness. Find the upper part of the stroke. Get into a nice, steady cadence. As you watch the trees next to you, or maybe some rock formations on one side, and you see the lake on your left side, or right, depending on which direction we're going. Stick with the climb. We're almost there. The nice part is you're going to get to spin down the backside. Nice bend in your elbows. Back down to your small ring, all the way up to your 23. Spin it out. At least 100. You're now coming down the backside, spinning out the legs, flushing out all that lactic acid. And as you go, you see the lake, a beautiful view. All your fellow cyclists with you in front and behind. Almost down to the bottom. That was a good day. I personally will like that day. Good climbing. 3, 2, 1. Find your easiest gear. Small ring. Take a drink. All right. So the next day is really a special day. So from Lake Bracciano, we are going to actually ride into Rome. So that is going to be an adventure. The day will be approximately 40 miles, 64 kilometers. And to be able to literally step out of the door of the hotel and ride ourselves into Rome is going to be pretty cool. But guess what happens when you do that? There's lots of stopping and starting because we are going into a major city, but we're also going to be stopping along the way. So this is going to be very unusual. Some of you may have done this with me in the past. I want you to be in your small ring and your 17. So again, 25, 23, 21, 19, 18, 17. You are going to do a 15-second hard effort, and then you are literally going to stop your feet for 15 seconds, as if we're stopping at a stoplight. So let's do this. We're going to do this for 4 minutes, but I'm going to walk you through that ride. So let's go. 15 seconds. Give it to me hard. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Keep the legs moving fast. So we're just getting started. Right out of the hotel. 3, 2, stop your feet. Literally, stop your feet. No pedaling. Keeping it going. Now, we've stopped at a light. There seems to be nice people in Italy. 3, 2, 1, let's go. 15 seconds. That's the best part about Italians, is they love their cyclists. Courteous, kind, and willing to wait. 3, 2, 1, stopping your feet. Yeah, we're going to find out about a lot of this along the way. But the cool part is, we're going to stop every once in a while to all of those attractions. 3, 2, let's go. That every person wants to visit when they go to Rome. We're coming up on the first one. Yep, you guessed it. Stop your feet. We're at the Colosseum. What? Wow, got to get some pictures here. This is pretty incredible. It's amazing to think this structure is still standing. 3, 2, 1, let's go. 15 seconds. Pushing it out. Oh yeah. Now we're going to be stopping your feet. I probably have these all in the wrong order. The Pantheon doesn't get any better than that. We're going to keep on going. 3, 2, 1. Keep your feet moving. Moving fast. Might take us a little longer to get to the next place, but it's not going to disappoint. Stopping your feet. Traffic whizzing by. Downtown Rome on a Wednesday. So who knows what kind of traffic there is there. 3, 2, 1, let's go. We're almost to our next site. I hope everybody brought a good camera. 3, 2, 1. You have now made it to the Spanish Steps. Oh, the history in Rome. We're all going to have to read up, get our tourism book to get the history. 3, 2, let's go. Keep it going. We're going to spend a little bit of time at the Spanish Steps, because the last place, you're definitely going to want to spend some time. 3, 2, 1. We have now made it to Trevi Fountain. That will be probably the last of the monuments and places that we will visit in Rome. But as you go, legs are moving. We're going to ride from the fountain over to the local coffee shop. 3, 2, 1. Stopping your feet so you can get whatever you wish to have at the coffee shop. And of course, as you know, coffee in Italy is the best. Time to pedal, get into an easy gear. Now it's time to recover. Take a drink. That was pretty good. I like that one. So, I'm going to give you 1 minute easy. The next piece is going to prepare you for what's to come in the last 12 minutes. So this next day is going to be an extremely special day. Emiliano, at one point in his life, worked for the Vatican, still has access to various parts of the Vatican. So on the next day, we are going to go for a short ride in the morning. And then, as they call it in Italy, we're going to take a transfer or a van into the Eternal City. So I want you to put yourselves in a small ring down to your 17, and I want you to just be spinning your legs at about a 90 cadence, between 80 and 90. Doesn't have to be hard. So this is going to be a nice, easy ride in the morning. Not a lot of elevation, because we're going to get in a van and head into the Eternal City and be able to get into parts of the Vatican that most people never have an opportunity to experience. It's going to be a very special day, one that anyone who has any religious connection may have an even more special day. I know that for me, my parents actually were taken to an audience with the Pope by the bishop of our diocese, because my father worked for the Catholic Church. He also got a special tour, my father and mom, with Bishop Kinnair, and Bishop Kinnair actually brought the Pope to my parents in the audience. So we have some very special pictures of them actually shaking hands with him. So it will be special moments for some people, but what a special day. And then that evening, we will stay in Rome and have dinner at a local restaurant that Emiliano has selected for us. So that day, you're going to get a lot of memories from that one. This is also going to be the last day that we will be in the region around Lake Bracciano. And as we finish this effort, I will tell you why. Keep it going. 20 seconds. I knew this workout would go fast. especially because I've been talking the whole time. Last couple of minutes. 3, 2, 1. Easy gear. Take a drink. All right. So what's going to happen next? Well, on Friday, we are actually going to transfer from northern Rome down into a hotel next to Vallelunga Circuit, which is a Formula One racetrack, but it also is a track that does motorcycle racing and other kinds of cars. The track is actually currently, since its renovations, 4.085 kilometers or 2.5 miles. And that track hosts what is the Roma 24-hour race around the Vallelunga track. So it means that people on their bikes are literally riding around the track for 24 hours, trying to go as fast as they can and be the fastest person going the furthest in that time frame. In addition to that, there's a 12-hour event, which if people on the ride wish to participate, there will be a team of 8 wearing kits that say Roma Team USA. And so right now, we're going to do 2 6-minute efforts as if we were doing a lap, or actually 2 laps around the track. So the fastest car that has gone around the track was Thomas Biaggi, and he was in a Formula One type car. He did it in 1 minute and 5 seconds. So we're going to start with 1 6-minute effort. What I want you to do is I want you to build this effort. 2 minutes building to 2 minutes a little harder to the last 2 minutes as hard as you can go. I'm going to allow you to pick the gear. Find where you want to be. You're welcome to shift along the way. 3, 2, 1, let's go. 2 minutes. We're just getting started. The really cool part about this track is you are going to notice with the first 2 pedal strokes that the surface is like glass. Now imagine race cars want a smooth surface so their cars can go fast. Well, this track is just unbelievable. Like nothing you've ever ridden on. The only thing I can say is that I was in Massachusetts with a group, and we literally got to ride on a freshly paved road, and man, it was like glass. So that's what this will feel like. The other cool part is some of the turns, and I believe that the previous track without the renovations had 13 turns. I believe now it may have 15 turns. So the track, and these are turns, some of them wide and long, others super narrow, and some of them have banking to them. So the cool part is, as you ride on the track, you kind of get to learn the lines of the track and what's the fastest way to get around these corners. The other cool part is you are out there with hundreds of other people. We're coming up on 2 minutes. If you want to shift to a harder gear, give yourself a little harder effort. Remember, it's 6 minutes You want to make it around there as fast as you can. One thing I forgot to mention was that the 24-hour event starts at 7 a.m. on Saturday. The 12-hour event that we will be doing starts at 7 p.m. So you're actually riding through the night, which is an amazing experience in itself. So each person on the team gets to do whatever designated number of laps has been predetermined by the team. If somebody feels like they only wanted to do 1 lap or 2, then the other teammates have to make up. We will obviously need lights, but the track is lit up. So there may be some sections that are a little dark, but it's an amazing experience. If you've ever done an evening event, seeing the sunrise really changes your perspective of that race. The other cool part is that Giancarlo Fisicelli, who is a Formula One driver, we're coming up on 4 minutes. Increase your effort even more for these last 2. Giancarlo is going to be our captain. So he's going to be there to keep us motivated. Where will he be? Well, we'll have our own special box right there on the track for those that are not riding to rest, recover, rejuvenate while they aren't riding. So that's the kind of cool part, is that you're going to have a place to be able to stay. You can even take a little nap, whatever you need to do in between your time on the track. And of course, as you come past your box, your teammates are screaming and yelling. Go, go, go. Allez, allez, allez. Whatever they need to say to keep you going. You're almost done. You can hear the crowd. You can see the banner in the distance of that finish line for your lap. Lap number 1 of the Roma 24-hour and 12-hour event. Don't stop yet. You're not there. 5, 3, 2, 1. You pass the baton. You get to cool down. 1 minute of cool down, and then you're back out there again. This is your last effort of the night. Make it your best one. You can stay in the same gear that you were in for this one, or do it in the same manner. Or if you feel like you want to push a little harder for the last 4 minutes, you may do that. So hopefully you're close to being finished with your water. Find the gear that you want to go into. Here we go. 2 minutes for the first part. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. We might go over tonight just a little bit but it's all going to be worth it. So the cool part about being out on the track is that there are no rules pertaining to drafting. So if there's a huge group and you want to tuck inside that group and just get pulled along, you are welcome to do so. So there will be all levels of riders. The other part about this event is there is an amazing expo. There is I don't even know how many spin bikes in the infield of the track. They're doing spinning along the way. And the other very amazing part is that those of you that know bike racing will find a myriad of professional cyclists in the midst. Some of them who some of you may know, others may not. Of course, Giancarlo isn't a cyclist, but he's a racer. Andrea Taffi used to ride for Mapei. He's a character. Sasha Mondolo, another amazing cyclist. Giovanni Visconti, potentially to be there. The last name, Mario Cipollini, could possibly be in attendance, and his bikes are, as I mentioned earlier, are what you will ride if you are riding a rental bike. 230 down. If you want to bring up your effort just a bit, I'll give you the 4-minute mark. The very cool part about this event is at the end, the winner of the event gets what's called the Roman helmet. So you can all just envision what that looks like. Literally, the plume on the top and the side panels, just like you would see on a Roman soldier. And that thing is shiny. So I'm sure those athletes really going for it have that prize in their sights to be able to lift that over their heads and then actually put it on. The great part for us is we will get to experience that. When we're finished on Sunday morning, 4 minutes down, 2 to go. Come on, stick with it. In the morning on Sunday, since we finish at the same time as the 24-hour race, we will experience the awards ceremony, the excitement, the drama, the anguish, all of those emotions that happen at the end of a race. I'm sure there'll be some crying. And it's something like you've never seen before. That's how the week will end. And it doesn't get any better than that. So let's make this last minute your best minute. You're going for that finish line. You're making that emotion happen. You're pushing yourself harder than you've ever done before because you know you're representing Team USA and you're riding for your teammates. Just 30 seconds of effort. Come on now. Keep it going. You can see that finish line. You can hear the cheers. The sun is just coming up. It's an amazing sight. 3, 2, 1. You cross the finish line. Your arms are up. You have just experienced the Vallelunga racetrack and the Roma 24-hour circuit. Good job, everybody. Nice, easy gear. Spinning out the legs. Taking a drink. Let me take a drink. So if you have any interest in joining the trip, you can go back to the brochure that I included in the email. Again, the dates are July 7th through the 15th. And if you want to go to a website to see even more, if you go to Pendenze, Pericolose.it //en. That's the English version of their website. And it's PENDENZEPericolose.it. If you go to their website, you'll notice a lot more detail. It may look a little similar to what you saw in the brochure, and you'll get a little bit more information because you can link to the 24-hour race if you're interested in a little bit more information about that. And if you look at the brochure, you can now put a face to those names that I've mentioned: Emiliano, Esmeralda, Susanna, and myself. So I am honored that they have asked me to assist them with putting together some trips that are strictly Americans. And that's what we are planning to do for this trip. And they have some others planned that you'll see on the website. And I may go through those at a future date. So I can say from experience, it's worth the journey. Yes, flying over there is tough, being in a plane for a very long time. But once you get there, you get settled in, and you literally get to ride every day and enjoy, which I didn't mention. For this particular trip, you can enjoy the lake anytime you want. You can swim there, you can boat there, you can fish there. So if you wish to do something at the lake and not ride in a day, you can also do that. So there are definitely other options available to you if you wish to do them. So we're just going to spin for a minute and a half more, just so you get enough of a cool down. I don't want you just stopping after doing those 2 hard efforts. Of course, if you have any questions pertaining to the trip, you can always contact me. I'll be happy to give you more information. And as you can see, this kit has the Roma 24-hour on the sides, and I'll show you a little closer as I get closer to the camera, the image that sits on the front of this jersey. It is pretty incredible, the design. I hope you enjoyed the workout tonight. It was fun for me to put it together and think about what each of those days was like or will be like, how the terrain will change, and how I can make a trainer session out of it. I always like to have fun creating something different. So we'll see what your legs feel like tomorrow when this is all said and done. All right, we're going to call that a night. And hopefully you'll join us for the Roman cycling holiday. If you can see, I don't know if you can actually see it. Wish I had Randy's here. Let me see if I can pull his jersey out of his closet and hold it up. It's a very cool jersey. So if you see right here, that is what the front looks like. It's amazing the artwork that they put into this. And then the back says Roma on it. So it's a very, very light material. The sleeves are probably the best part. They just hug your arms just perfectly.